Hello, collectors. Welcome back to For Collectors. I am your host for the show today, John, the 3E80s kid. And I have got a great collector in the community that I will be talking to, and we'll be doing a deep dive on his collection, his YouTube experience after almost 1 year, I think, on YouTube. And so stick around and check that out. Welcome to For Collectors. All right, as you saw in the intro, Hobbypalooza is coming, so you want to make sure you're here for that. It is starting on July 18th, and then the evening on Friday night, going all day Saturday the 19th, and all day Sunday the 20th. It's going to be a great show. We have 29 different separate shows set up, larger than it's ever been. And this is all on behalf of Signatures for Soldiers, a great charity organization that supports veterans, especially disabled veterans, and provides services to them. So it is going to be a great event. We're hoping to break our fundraising record we set last year, which was a big $5,800. Amazing. We were able to present that check to the leader of that charity at the National, and we hope to give them an even bigger one this year. So please join us and donate. There'll be lots of prizes we'll be giving away. Every $10 you donate will give you an entry in for the prizes. And yeah, it's going to be a great time. Besides that, I don't know if you watched it or not, or saw it yet, or heard it yet, but we are going to be hosting Trade Night at the National Saturday night. That is Saturday, what's that, August 2nd or 1st? I forget what the hell the date is. It's at the National on Saturday night. So we, as For Collectors, get to be the hosts of the vintage area for Trade Night, the official Trade Night, actually at the convention center for the National. So it'll be a great time. Be sure you stop on by and check out what we're going. We're going to have some prizes to give away, and it'll just be a fun time. Another community gathering point for all of us. So hope to see you there as well. All right. After all this talking, he's still waiting for me in the green room here. I have got Justin from Go Crazy Card Collecting. I think that's the full thing. Yes.
Yes.
And I was right. You're hitting your 1 year anniversary here, right?
Yeah, John, thanks for having me, by the way. Yeah, I'm right at it. I did like 4 videos and then took a 6 months hiatus because it was the fall for me as a band director. So like I started at the wrong time. But yeah, I mean, I've been on for a year, just haven't really been making videos for that whole time.
Okay. Well, you've made quite a few though, so you still count it as an anniversary. So
I have.
I totally count it. So, by the way, link to his channel will be down below. Please subscribe, give him some support. But sorry, you were about to say something.
No, that's totally fine. I was just I've been going strong since January for sure. I got back into it, and so it's been a good six months. But the back half of that year, I've been going pretty consistently.
All right. Well, before we dive into that further, let's rewind. Let's talk about young Justin. How did you get your start in collecting in the first place?
Okay. Yeah. So I grew up. I was born in '83. I grew up kind of during that. Everybody calls it the junk wax era, and so Most of my collecting, I got, my Aussie Smith cards, my Ken Griffey Jr. cards. I was a big Frank Thomas fan. I don't really even know why. I just like Frank Thomas. And so I got a bunch of cards through there, and like a lot of us, at some point, I just stopped, and they were all put in a big crate or box or trunk or whatever, and shoved in the attic. And a few years ago, my son started playing baseball and really getting into it. And so I wanted to do something to kind of share my childhood experience with him. And so um, we got my cards down and started looking at them. And what really kind of sparked this whole thing is my mom. And I didn't know how early I wanted to show something, but this right here was my mom's binder when I was growing up, and there were her cards from her childhood in it. And she asked me, she said, I was going to leave it to you when I passed away, but I'd rather watch you and your son enjoy it. And so she gave it to me. And I mean, it went from there. There were a lot of good cards in there, and I'm sure I'll share some of those as this goes on. But
and that is such a different story for most of us, because how many moms were the card collector? So
I know I mean, she opened them she opened them herself from the packs and did it with her brother. And there was one card in there that I knew of my entire childhood, and I'll show that in a bit. But she opened them and she played with them and loved them. But she said she hadn't looked at them in about 20 years. She looked at them when we were kids, but she didn't really care that much about them now. And so she just asked if I wanted them, and I said, well, heck yeah. And so it just kind of started me down this path. They were mostly, I say mostly, they were pretty much all from the 60s.
That's awesome. Yeah. As far as me, my dad had a few cards. They weren't a big deal to him, and it's the usual mom threw them out at some point. So
yeah,
my mom was the collector, but it wasn't cards, it was albums, music. So
oh yeah, well, that's awesome. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but that is definitely a unique thing in this community for you to be inheriting that from your mom, though. So
well, and I'll be honest, I think there were some cards in here. There was one card that was just beat all to heck, and I'll show it to you. But there were several cards in there that were in really good shape. You kind of wonder, with it being from my mom instead of from my dad wasn't around growing up, but instead of being from a dad or something, where they maybe kept in a little bit better shape. You know what I mean? Like she did play with them, but you would just think a little girl might take a little bit more care of it than a little. We've been little boys, and so we know how that goes.
Well, I was one who was fastidious with mine, so I did look at them a ton, but I was also Mr. Careful, because a few of my 80s cards that I got graded that still got like 8s and 8.5s were mine. So
wow.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's cool. So you stopped collecting. Were you then into sports yourself, or?
Yeah, I stayed. So I grew up in the St. Louis area, just south of St. Louis, about 45 minutes from downtown St. Louis. And so the Rams showed up mid 90s and quickly became the greatest show on turf. And so that was a huge deal. I grew up a huge Cardinals fan, Aussie Smith fan. Loved a lot of the 90s era Cardinals and into Mark McGuire and Pujols. And so I've been a Cardinals fan my whole life. But I did love the Rams through that late 90s, early 2000s time. And that was a really wonderful time. I was a Blues fan there for a little bit, but never really latched onto hockey all that much. But yes, I still love sports and, played sports whenever I could, for the old guys, slow pitch softballs, kind of what we got. But sports was still a big part of my life. And I moved to Arkansas, which is where I live now, and we don't have any pro sports in the whole state. And so the Razorbacks are a big deal here. I'm a Missouri Tigers fan. I do like the Razorbacks as well. And so that's kind of been a driving force for the last since 18 years or so since I lived in Arkansas as well.
All right. And so then now, starting with your son, is he still active doing stuff with you, or
Yeah.
and what do you guys do together? Like,
Yeah, I mean, he plays baseball. He was on the Conway All-Stars team, which was Conway is where I live.
yeah,
Which playing, he loves to play, and we can't watch a whole lot, and they make it pretty hard for us to watch, and we don't subscribe to any of the viewing channels. But collecting wise, absolutely, he still loves. One of the things he really got the most fun I think I've ever had. I've only opened uh, two blaster boxes. One of them I actually pulled a 1 of 1 and sold and bought some vintage, which was kind of cool. It was the first blaster box I ever opened, and like really the only Walmart blaster box I ever opened. The other one, we bought a box of opening day tops, and him and my daughter both really love the mascots. And so they're real big into the baseball mascots, and they have all the mascot cards in there. And so we divided them out and opened up 30 something packs and just did nothing but look for mascots. It was it was so fun. My son
oh
was
yeah,
so pumped when he would find, and then they were trading because they would get, I already have this one. You want this one? And so they have big stacks of mascot cards. And so we actually wrote Orbit, and he sent us back a care package with some signed stuff. And anyway, that was really awesome. That's been so much fun. Yes. And we play the 68 card game, which I'm going to do a video at some point of us playing that, because we like to play that together. We painted a piece of cardboard into a baseball field, and we use it for our 68 card game.
oh cool. I'd never actually seen the rules on that. So yeah, I'd be interested to see that video. So
Yeah, we're gonna hopefully I can ham it all up like I want to and have a live scoreboard and all that. I think it'll be so fun.
cool. So as far as your vintage collecting, then what are all the things that you are into then?
So, man, um, it's really hard for me to nail it down. I will show you. So when my mom gave me that collection, there was one card that I knew growing up, and it was this one, and I did send it off as the Nolan Rookie. And so it came back a 4, and I didn't even know anything about grading. I probably did the dumbest thing that you could do with the binder when I got it. I took it into a card shop, and they were making me offers on it and all that stuff. And luckily, I was like, "Well, no, I'm not. First of all, I don't know enough to feel comfortable just selling it to you. Second
Yeah.
of all, my mom literally opened these from a pack, and so anyway, this is what kind of got me going with that. And so when I saw this, it took me down the rabbit hole to collect the entire 68 set. And so I went from here and bought some other 68s, and just kind of, I realized that she had about 100 68s in her binder. And so, in fact, this was in there. Got a 7.5, the Yastrzemski.
Nice.
Then we had this was in there, the Aaron and the Mays. And then after from that, I just started got the bench rookie and the Clemente, and just kept going. And so I built that entire 600 card set. And then that's why I went to the game set after that. Have you ever gone through an entire set, John?
Not since opening from packs myself in like 89 and 90.
Well,
So
I know some people absolutely love it, and more power to them. That's great. That's something they do. I will probably never do it again. I did love it. I didn't hate it. It wasn't like a thing like that. It was more like I'm very limited on my budget, and now I'm spending my monthly budget on 50 cards of guys I've never heard of in my life. And so
you're loving those high number commons then. Is that
that's right. That's right. And I'm like, why am I buying these cards? And it's because I've gotten myself so deep into a set that I got to finish it. Like I have to finish it. And I did, and I'm glad I have it. But I won't do another one, not in the foreseeable future anyway.
yeah. So what then is your plan moving forward now that is behind you?
Well, now I've kind of moved on to, and we were talking about this before. I've tried to focus myself more on player runs, and so the one that I'm kind of going after now, and like I said before, I'm a huge Cardinals fan, and there's a lot of low hanging fruit in Lou Brock's player run, and so I'm an avid watcher of the Showcase Showdown with Mike and Baseball Collector and Chris from Missouri. I've watched all those, and so that's really fun to me and really neat to me. And I don't have a full player run. I mean, I have the Aussie Smiths. None of them are graded, but I don't have a full graded player run, and so I decided that Lou Brock was my thing. And I got a kind of a cool story on that. I don't know if you saw earlier in my channels. I bought a Beckett Lou Brock in a 4.5, and
I did see that.
yeah, and I cut it out and cracked it and sent it in, and I didn't care at all. Here's the crack, and
Yeah.
I didn't care at all what it came back as. But it, with SGC, it came back as a 5, and I was so pumped about that. I didn't care. It's so funny. Like, I genuinely did not care if it came back as a 4 or a 3.5. I would have been happy and fine.
Yeah.
But then it comes back better than you thought, and maybe you did care. Like, you're excited and happy, and like, maybe I did care about that, but I wouldn't have cared if it was lower. So that's where I'm focused now. I'm trying to do a player run with Lou Brock, and I've got his rookie. I don't have his 63, so that's going to be a little bit of money, but trying to do something that's a little more. The completing the whole thing is a card. Every single card is one that I want, and that I'm excited about to buy, even if it's like a $30 78 Brock. Like, I'm still excited about that card, and um, so this has been really fun for me, and I may kind of stick with this for a little bit because I enjoy it, and it's not, you have a lot of times you have anywhere from 15 to 20 cards to complete it.
Oh yeah. And and then it gives you a flavor of all those different sets through those eras, that era there they played in as well. So where
Yeah,
you'll end up having samples. So
well, and you know what I'm starting to learn, and I don't know how many of the runs do this, but I feel like when you start going through their tops runs, you see in the whole run that there are very few cards that actually show them doing something that they're really known for. There's like only a couple cards where Lou Brock's actually stealing a base,
oh yeah.
or or like in Aussie Smith's run, there's like one card in his tops run where he's making a defensive play. Like, the rest of them, he's at bat.
Yep.
It's like that's what he. And what was funny is, like, Yogi Berra's 54 tops card is like the only tops card that he has where he's actually holding a glove and catching. Now there might be his 56 where in the background it has those things, but
Sure.
like his 54 card, like, he's legit got a glove on his hand, and he's, it's just funny to me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's funny you mentioned Aussie Smith because I ended up having to go all the way to 93 upper deck before I found a card I liked
Yeah,
ultimately for him where he's doing something defensive. So
I know. It's like literally that was what pushed him into the Hall of Fame, and they were like, let's not get those on his cards. Let's get him at
yeah,
bat. Or
it's
I don't
either
know.
batting or maybe base running or just a stand there pose.
Right.
So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so yeah, and I definitely see what you mean with tops too. They were not the best as far as caring about their photography. So
No. And we've all talked about the reusing of stuff. Lou doesn't really have that, but so many did, where they would reuse images and things like that. And yeah, it was very interesting. It was even later in their career when you knew what they were special for. It's like, why aren't you getting those images of them doing those things?
yeah.
So
Well, yeah, and you've got that goal of the rookie Gibson because then you've already got the rookie Brock. So both
mhm.
those guys are really, on the cheaper side for the most of the rest of their cards. I mean, a couple of them fall in that high number sort of zone, maybe for a set or so, but
Yeah.
I mean, those are
Yeah,
the
they're not
ultimate.
bad. They're not bad at all. And
Yeah.
Gibby's rookie is pretty expensive.
Yes.
And I am saving up for that. You know, he's a top tier Hall of Famer, and it's a 59, and it was a high number, and all the things against it in terms of price. But I did, yes. Once I get that one, his 60 card you can get for fairly cheap, and so the rest of them, like, there's nothing. And so yeah, I get that one card out of the way, and it seems pretty attainable.
Oh yeah. So yeah, if that's it's definitely a great approach to go for the expensive one before you try to fill out the rest. So um, good call on that front. So any other cards you want to show that are kind of representative items from your collection?
Sure. Um, a lot of them just have to do like so after I did that first couple cards with um the Nolan rookie and stuff, I did this was also my mom's,
Yeah,
the
let's give you a bigger
64.
screen.
Yeah, there we go. The 64 mantle. And I sent it off with that Nolan because it's in pretty good shape. And later on this is the one I was talking about that was just beat to heck. I mean,
Oh
she
yeah, it's
loved
a
it.
little rough, but you can
Yeah.
still, it's not totally like a bike spokes version.
No. Well, and you just I was listening to Golden Age podcast. I have a mowing, so I'm a band director during the school year, and I have a mowing business in the summer. So all
Yeah.
summer long, I listen to podcasts, and the main podcast I listen to is Golden Age of Cardboard. So I I was listening to it today, actually, this morning while I was mowing someone's yard, and he talked about how you just don't, when it has a story like my mom opened this from a pack, and I'm the second owner of it, you just don't care what it looks like.
Oh yeah.
Like you just don't. At like even kind of. And in fact, all I can do is think about my mom being little and just playing with this card. Like it's pretty awesome. Um, a lot like I did one talking about Hall of Famers, how to collect Hall of Famers on the cheap. I did an episode on that, which seemed to be somewhat of a popular episode. And so she had a lot of the league leader cards. So I sent all those off and got them graded.
Yeah.
And I do want to share a story, if you don't mind, about an opportunity that came from this binder that I got from my mom. You cool with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I think this is really cool. I don't know how many people really think it's all that cool. It's not like it's someone that they don't really know or whatever, and you kind of have to introduce them sometimes. But it ended up being a really cool thing. So I took this binder when I first got it. I took it to the school that I was currently working at, and I was showing it to one of the coaches, and he's a collector of autographs. And so he was looking through it, and he said, that's Dick Hughes. And I said, I have no idea who that is. He was a Cardinals pitcher for the 67 team. And he said, I think that I could set up an opportunity to meet him. And I said, really? He said, yeah. I said, that would be so awesome. He said, so give me a little bit of time and we'll try to do that. And he texted me about 2 weeks later and he said, how's lunch on Saturday? And I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, well, let's go eat lunch on Saturday. Bring that card and bring some things if you want to get it signed. And I said, that'd be great. And so we went out to lunch with this Cardinals pitcher from the 67 team. And I thought this was really cool. And I researched him a little bit before. And I was like, there's so many guys that could have played through the 60s that yeah, maybe they're lower tier MLB players and stuff. And he only had this one season really, but it ended up being that in 67 he was rookie of the year runner up to Tom Seaver, and he
I
had
thought the
won.
name was familiar. Yes,
Yeah,
because then who was third place that year? Was another Hall of Famer, wasn't it?
I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, I don't know,
But he won 16 games for the Cardinals, ended up pitching 2 games in the World Series, which he totally failed on those 2 games, but he I mean, it had all these stories, had these pictures they had just had in 2017. They had their 50th anniversary or whatever. So he had pictures of him and Bob Gibson and Lou Brock and Red Shane
Oh,
Dean. I mean, he's just showing me on his phone, like just pictures of them on his phone down in the dugout. And then he talked about how Stan Musial called him into his office 3 different times throughout the year to give him raises because Stan was the GM at the time. And I mean, just so many different things that that he talked about and kind of told me about and things like that, and which ended up being really, really awesome. And so now what's kind of cool is I have an open communication with him, and if I find items that I think would be cool for him to sign, I'll just send them to him and he signs them for me and sends them back. So
that's
that's
cool.
been really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. And this is literally, wait, I got too many in there. This is literally his entire player run. He said the 68 year, he felt something warm and wet during spring training in his arm, pitched 60 something innings that year, and then was done and never pitched again.
Yeah, because I just looked him up real quick on my other screen, and he was a 29-year-old rookie that
Right.
year.
It
And
took, yeah.
I knew the name was familiar, but then I then had a link to get to the voting. The third place guy that year was Mr. Gary Nolan, who
Wow.
was the major leaguer my dad faced in high school.
Oh, nice. Look at that tie. That's pretty cool.
He was a 19-year-old rookie.
Oh,
So,
wow. 10 years younger.
They literally graduated high school in 66. So
Wow. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, he ended up being like somewhere like 13th or 14th in the MVP voting. Got a baseball glove contract and stuff. What's funny is, so I've looked up 2 tickets. That 67 Cardinals team is my favorite team. And I looked up 2 tickets from that year to try to, besides the World Series tickets, just some random tickets. I was like, I want to get a ticket from that season. And so the first one I found was this ticket right here. And it's September 19th, 67. And I started researching what this game was, and Dick Hughes pitched it, and he pitched against Jim Bunning and pitched a 1-0 shutout against Hall of Famer Jim Bunning.
that's awesome.
So I got sent that to him and he signed it, and I asked him to put winning pitcher 1-0 on it for me. And then I found these are the only 2 tickets I could find from 67 on eBay when I searched. I haven't searched a bunch, but when I searched, and then I found this one, which was August 24th, 67, and he pitched in San Francisco against Gaylord Perry, Hall of Famer Gaylord Perry, beat him in a shutout 2-0. And gave up a hit to Willie Mays, which was kind of cool. But also he got an RBI. He only had 4 RBIs in his entire career, and he got one in this game. And so I don't have this one signed, but I'm going to send it to him to get him to sign it. So it's kind of neat. He's not like, a lot of guys, you recognize the name. You probably, if I would have said it to you, you'd have been like, I've heard it, but I can't tell you anything about him. So it's not like this big, but it's really, really neat. And the stories are cool. And he's so excited. He's about 86 years old, and he's so excited.
I only knew it because of that voting and because of my tie to Gary Nolan there.
That is so cool. Most people have I have to over explain who he is to people, but it's been a neat thing.
Yeah, that is cool. So yeah, no reason to apologize for a cool story. So what else you got cooking there?
So, well, I just, I have so many of these cards that I pulled out that I still, I have a stack of stuff that I just want to go and, I still need to get this graded. These are all Hall of Famers out of my mom's set. And so, they're just, I keep talking about that set, but I describe to you how meaningful it is to me to have all these cards. I mean, I got a really good jump start on what I'm trying to do, which I don't really even know what it is yet. But in the fact that I'm trying to build this collection, I got this really good jump start, and it's been really amazing. I do have. Do you have any of these?
I do not.
Okay, and I know that baseball collectors real big on the press deals. I have about 6 of these, and this is kind of a cool story. And so I wanted to just get all the Cardinals. I'm not looking to get everybody that's
Is
ever.
that even an autographed one?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
this is Stan.
Yeah.
Um, and I have Lou's and Bob Gibson's. I can get those real quick. Here's Johnny Mize with the auto. Red Schoendienst.
Cool.
Slaughter. I only have 6 of them, so I was just going to show them. Lou Brock. Here's Bob Gibson. And then the stand. And what's cool about those is that I was saying earlier that I've opened, I don't even know if I was saying it to you beforehand or if it was in this interview, but I was saying earlier that I've opened 1 blaster box ever. I did open that opening day box of cards, but the 1 blaster box I opened, I pulled it was a holiday box, a holiday tops box, and I pulled a 1 of 1, and I snuck this box into our cart for $25 at Walmart while my wife and I were shopping. She was like, "What the heck is this?" And I was like, "Can I just buy it?" And so anyway, and I pulled a 1 of 1, and I immediately started looking up comps, and it was a 1 of 1 rookie tops holiday, and I put it up for sale, and it sold within like an hour. And I bought all 6 of these with the money that I made from that 1 of 1. So I bought a $25 blaster box from Walmart on a whim, and then was able to sell that card and buy all of these.
Sweet.
So yeah, so I was pretty pumped about it, and these are neat in my collection. I absolutely love them. I'm a huge fan of the bigger items. Like I don't know. There's something about that the big picture being bold, and I really love that.
Yeah, and at this point, you're best off just never buying another pack again, because now you can go out ahead.
Well, that was like 2 years ago, and I haven't done it yet. So yeah, I'm like too nervous to buy it because I'm like I will be utterly disappointed.
Yeah, because almost every story out there is, oh, I spent $25 on this, and now I have $2 worth of cards.
Right. And I would say I don't even know where the rest of those cards went, but that and I may do an episode about that. I've got pictures of the 1 of 1, but obviously I don't have it with me anymore. And it was an MJ Melendez, who is with the Kansas City Royals, and at the time they were hoping he was going to be, he was kind of, they tried to make him a catcher, and they were hoping he was going to be somebody big, but I found someone who collected MJ Melendez, and it was a 1 of 1, and so they really, really wanted it.
Yeah, and most of those guys, probably 95% of them, the best time to sell is their rookie year, huh?
That's right. That's right. I wasn't going to wait. That's for sure.
Awesome. So is that it for anything you have to show, or did you have something else you wanted?
No, I think that might be all I have to show.
Okay. Well, then we can go on the next phase here. So your YouTube life, how was that, starting doing YouTube? How have you felt about, making videos and putting yourself out there? How's that felt for you?
Man, I don't know if I would love to do like a deal where everybody talks about the moment they push play or record their very first time, because it's like the most terrifying thing ever. I don't know if you felt that, but man, I did. It was like, first of all, how often have you just stared into your phone and talked
Yeah.
before now? I mean, you've done it a lot now, but before then, how many times have you done it? And
Yeah,
so,
never.
yeah. And so it was weird. It was weird, and it was strange. And I really wanted to do it. What the catalyst for that was, my mom, I said my mom so much in this interview. My wife, two very different people.
Yes,
Different people.
that's a good thing.
My Okay, I was going to say something, but I'm not going to say it. My wife, I think, was getting pretty tired of hearing me talk about baseball cards. She doesn't care about them, and she was getting to the point where she would let me know she doesn't care about them. She's like, I don't care about your baseball cards. And so I'm like, okay, she's still accepting of them right now, so maybe I should find somebody else to talk to. And so I started to hit record, and I was watching several people, like many others, say, Mike Baseball Collector, his channel's out there and he does a whole lot for the hobby. And so obviously I started watching him. I started watching Mangini, chasing cardboard, some different things like that. And so I just decided, what the heck, why not? It, if anything, I'll find 5 people to talk to. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so I just pushed record, started talking about my mom's collection, and then put it out there, and started to get a pretty decent response. And one of the responders that I got was one of my best friends in high school sent me a message on Facebook. And he was like, dude, I know you just started a card channel. Do you remember Billy? And he has a card channel as well. And I said, I absolutely remember Billy. Now, Billy Ballgame is who I'm talking about. He is
Yeah.
the husband of one of my best friend's sisters in high school, if that makes sense. So when I was in high school, Billy was around a lot, and he was, dating one of my best friend's sisters. And so I got to know him real well when I was in high school. He's older than me. I'm not going to tell you how much older, but he's quite a bit older.
I think
But
he's still a little younger than me. So,
oh, I say quite a bit, but it's like 8 years. He's like 8 years older than me or something. Anyway, yeah,
I'm 9 years older. So there you go.
okay. 9 years older than me or him?
9 years older than you. So
Okay,
yeah,
there.
we're pretty close.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah, so you're around Billy's age.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he was like, Billy has a channel. He would love for you to reach it. Now I hadn't talked to Billy in 20 years, 20 plus years. And so it immediately, my very first video immediately brought me and Billy back together. And it was like, dude, we haven't talked in 20 years. This is so awesome. And we've just been, him and I, we text probably at least once a day. We text a lot. And so I went there and spent some time with him over the weekend, this past weekend. And, but that just kind of got things going. And he's been helpful and instrumental. And then I did about 4 videos, like I said, and then for 6 months I didn't do anything. And I'm like, am I going to get back into it or not? So then when I did get back into it, it was like doing a first video all over again. I was like terrified and scared, and I didn't want to. It was so dumb. It was like, why didn't I do this whole time? Why did I wait for so long? And then so I started doing videos again, and I don't know, somewhere around my 10th video or so, Mangini shared it. And when he shared it, it hit that algorithm and just kind of took off a little bit. And so that's been my biggest video to date, and it got me several. So it was a 100 subscriber video. I was celebrating 100 subscribers, which number 100 was my wife, by the way. At 99, I found out she hadn't subscribed to me yet, so she was number 100. And then the very next video, the next week, I was celebrating 300. And so that was really awesome. And that video kind of hit for me, and got me closer to where I am now. And since then I've been doing them pretty regularly and meeting people and going to hang out with them. There were about 5 or 6 of us that hung out this past weekend, and it's been wonderful, John. Like it's everybody talks community, but you don't really know until you're in it. And so it's been pretty neat, pretty awesome.
I mean, that's great. I mean, that's what most of us are here for. I mean, yeah, when you hit 1,000 subscribers and so many watch hours, Google will pay you money, and it is a tiny, tiny, tiny amount. Yeah. So, maybe every 3 months, I think, is the way I'm tracking. I might get $100 from Google. So,
well, there you go.
just
Yeah,
FYI
it's a
for
good
my
thing
own personal channel.
well, it's a good thing we're not doing it for that, right?
Exactly. So, I mean, but yeah, the what you get in the relationships is just huge, and especially getting to go gather with folks like that in person. Honestly, the next step will be probably people pushing you to go to things like Strongsville or National or, you know,
I'm getting the
uh,
Strongsville push pretty hard, I think, right now.
well, that's such a cool setup there where you got the hotel right across the parking lot from the venue. And so everybody that's out of town is staying in that hotel, which is almost everybody in YouTube is out of town from there. So it's just a cool thing where, every time you go into the lobby, it becomes a little impromptu gathering of YouTubers. So,
Well, and for that show, everybody's pretty much there for the vintage, right? So it's like,
oh, yeah.
uh, so you don't have to weed through all the other stuff. Everybody's kind of there for one common goal, and I've almost the national's super hard for me because as a band director, that is like prime time for our camps to start and getting ready for football season. And I mean, we have 8 to 4 scheduled every day during the week of the national. And I mean, I just can't give up that time to go and do that. But Strongsville is something that I could probably make an effort to get to. And it could, potentially become my national, if you know what I mean? Like, so,
Oh, yeah.
um, so that may be something. I wasn't the school I just left. I just got to move to a bigger school. Like I just got hired on at a bigger school. The one that I left always had something during the weekend of Strongsville. The one I'm going to does not. So so that weekend may be something that I can kind of get to and that sort of thing. I would have to drive, and it's like 12 or 13 hours from where I'm at. So I may add some to my drive and drive up to Missouri and then drive over, which adds a couple hours, but at least for most of it, we
Or
can,
at least meet those guys over there and all caravan together, right?
that's true. That's true. At least we can separate the driving, and I'm not trying to drive for 12 hours by myself.
Exactly. So, something to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, do you have any particular plans or goals or anything you're trying to do with your channel moving forward, or just having fun in the community? I mean, is that
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm having fun in the community. I would like to do, so I'm in Arkansas, and I did a small series on kind of some of the players from Arkansas and a little bit of the history of Arkansas. And during that time, I talked about going down to Hot Springs, and which I'm going to do very, very soon. I don't know. Hot Springs is somewhere that if you're a baseball fan or a baseball history fan, it's a pretty awesome place to be. It's where um, spring training started in Hot Springs, and so all the greats were going down there. I mean, from Ty Cobb to Babe Ruth to Hank Aaron to, I mean, they all made their way down to Hot Springs, um, and so there's even a home plate sitting there exactly where the home plate of the original field used to be, and uh, Babe Ruth hit a home run from there into the alligator farm, which is like 500 and something feet away. And so there's all kinds. There's like 29 stops, and they have signs, and it's kind of a history. Here is where this happened, here is where this happened, here is where the players would enjoy the bathhouses, and it's called the Baseball Trail, and it's in Hot Springs. And I really, really am going to get down there and try and do a video on that. And sometimes I like to get away from baseball cards for a second and just talk about the history of the game, because I love it. And so, I mean, that's, if you don't love the history of the game, it's really hard to love these vintage baseball cards.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that one. So yeah, I don't know that much about that spot in particular. So
Yeah, it's pretty, and they have a big baseball weekend there every year where they get some players to come and sign, and have a bunch of tables and do clinics and different things like that. And so it's kind of a hot spot for baseball history for sure.
well, cool. All right. I think we have reached the point at the video that you have not prepared for, and that I am springing on you.
Great.
Which would be 10 random questions for you to answer that don't necessarily have anything to do with cards or collecting.
Okay, here we go.
All right. So, yeah, where'd my glasses go? All right. My old man specs. Do you have a favorite song?
Ooh, snap. So fun fact, I owned a DJ business for like 11 years. And it ruined almost all music for me. I like have the hardest time listening to music ever. I listen to I listen to like all talk radio.
Well, see, that's where these questions pull these facts that we would have never learned about you otherwise.
Man, it's hard, and the fact that I'm a band director doesn't make that any better. I like music is just constant for me. So I don't even have an answer to that. I don't even know how to answer that with you.
All right, I will accept that. If you could choose any superhero power, what would be your superhero power of choice?
Ooh, teleportation.
That is a great one.
Yeah, there's never been a time where I don't go on a vacation, and when it's time to come home, I'm like, dang, I wish I could teleport.
Exactly.
Like, who wants, like, driving 2 places isn't so bad, but who wants to drive home?
Exactly. And you got the power to grab somebody and go together, right? Too.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So excluding just your pet animals, dogs, cats, what is your favorite animal?
Ooh. Favorite animal. For some reason, and this has to tie to my kids, we love capybaras. Do you know what capybaras are?
Isn't that the Australian marsupial thing that
It's like they're like the largest rodents in the world. They're like, I don't know. They look like big, huge guinea pigs.
All right. Are they from like Southeast Asia or something? Or
I think they're from somewhere else. That's for sure. I don't exactly know where. Sorry to make that weird for you. You have.
Okay, it's a definitely a unique answer.
My kids, I don't know. My kids love them. There was a Disney movie that one was on, and he was like a kind of a big part of the movie, and I don't know. They love them, and so we talk about them all the time.
Well, the For Collectors post-production crew will have to throw a capybara picture onto the screen there at that moment. So
there we go.
If you could switch lives and experience, someone else's life for a day, any point in history, living or dead, and you had their skills and abilities so you could feel what it feels like to be able to do what they could do, is there someone that you would choose?
Ooh. Oh wow. Yeah, let me go as a band director nerd. Let me go the route of Louis Armstrong. Do you know Louis Armstrong?
Oh yeah, trumpet player.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's like the pioneer of modern jazz music.
Yeah.
And so what a cool life that he was, during the time when, black, they couldn't even play with white people in baseball, and he's getting to go all to these big clubs and all that stuff because he could play his trumpet, and so I mean, just his story is really neat, and he was just a pioneer of so much stuff. It would be really cool to have to just kind of seen what that was like and have his ability. And so Louis Armstrong's my answer.
All right, cool answer. Do you have a favorite movie?
Yeah, Rookie of the Year. and
Okay.
which is ridiculous because I'm a Cardinals fan.
Yeah, so I
Like,
was wondering then, because bitter
it's
rivals.
the most ridiculous thing ever, but me and my kids quote it constantly. Gosh.
All right.
I just don't even
Henry
acknowledge.
Rowan Gardner, huh?
That's right. Or Rudenbaker or Rollenberger or Rosenbagger. He says Rosenbagger at one point.
Yeah. Awesome. Did you have well, I guess I pretty much know the answer to this one. It's one of my usual questions, though. Did you have a favorite school subject?
Oh, yeah. It was band. It was, hey, in particular, it was jazz band. So there we go.
Yep. My middle son likes playing with the jazz band too.
Man, jazz is my my jam for sure.
Yep. Cool. My son's a saxophone player, so.
Ooh, I love that. I was a trumpet player, but I love the saxophone. You can't love jazz and not love the saxophone.
Oh, sure. Do you have a favorite food?
I would say, this is kind of ridiculous. Can I go in the terms of desserts?
Whatever it is, yeah.
I guess dessert is food. Kind of ridiculous. I love, and my family always gets it for me for Father's Day and my birthday, ice cream sandwiches. I don't know why they're so refreshing and good to me, but I love an ice cream sandwich.
Okay. Like the classic, like
Yeah, like
chocolate sides with the vanilla in the middle.
that's right. Yeah, that gets all over
Okay.
your fingers and you gotta like scrape it off and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Okay. When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Gosh, I'm trying to be outside the box and not just because I mean it was a major league baseball player, but how like I feel like that's the cop out answer, but that's the
You're not
truth.
the first person to give that one, but
Yeah, I know because of course we all wanted to be major league baseball players. Like, I mean,
I was a
if
little
you
more
love the game at
realistic
all.
about myself, so
Oh, come on. Hey, I was close. I was close. I had to give it up when I was about 11, but I was pretty close.
okay. Well, I mean, I didn't even play high school ball, so I
Oh,
was
there you go.
I was the kid who could field decently at second base, but could barely hit. So,
Hey,
in,
I was in the band and a trumpet player. Do you think that I was going to play in the major leagues? Yeah.
all right. So next up is who's the most famous person you've ever encountered, and any interesting story around that. So,
Ooh, yeah. I've encountered several, but I'll give this story. So I went to school in Southwest Missouri. It was a little school in Bolivar, Missouri, just north of Springfield. And I was in Springfield one time at a mall, and the mall was closing. And there was this kind of entourage of people that were walking around. And so what had happened was someone was coming in after hours to shop so that they didn't have to shop with the general population. And it was Vanilla Ice. And so Vanilla Ice was walking
word to your
around.
mother.
That's right. That's right. He was walking around and there were very few of us left in the mall. And so because they had already said like mall is closing, but we ran over to him and the only thing we had in our pocket is we had $2. And so it was me and a buddy, and we each took $1 and had him sign a dollar bill.
You
Yeah.
still have those?
I do not.
Yours? Oh,
I moved so many times. I have no idea where it went, but I had a signed dollar bill from Vanilla Ice. Well past his one hit wonder days, but
yeah.
which I actually say he had 2 hits. You ever see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Ninja Rap?
Yeah. Wasn't quite the same level.
Hey, it was to me. Okay, it was to me.
Yeah, you were a kid in that
That's
era,
true.
so
That's
yes.
true.
Whereas, I think I would have been a college student when that released. So, Um,
I mean,
little
the Turtles
different
got up
of a
there and
memory.
danced with him. The Turtles got it on stage and danced with him during that scene. I mean, come on.
Yes. Go Turtles, go Turtles, go.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
All right. So I was curious, how did he sign his signature at that point?
Man,
Because
I
it's
don't know
like
if I.
names what Rob Van Winkle. Did
Yeah,
he
he
actually
still
sign
signed
it?
it. He still signed it Vanilla Ice. You know, he was
Okay,
there
that's all I
doing
was
a.
curious.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he knows what people want, I guess, but he was there doing a show in some club in Springfield. But at the time, he was like a screamo performer. Like I don't even know if he performed any of his original stuff. Like he was like a lead singer of a screamo band or something. So
Okay.
yeah, so I
Yeah.
think what he was doing at the time was a lot different than what he was known for sure.
Oh yeah. He had some alternate failed projects that he tried,
Yes. He like built
So
houses a little bit later, I think. Like he did some house building show.
yeah. And then he went the usual route then of doing has been reality TV for a while. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now, if I told you this is your last question, I'm going to veer right back to collecting and give you a challenging thing, maybe. If I
Okay.
told you you could not collect any Cardinals players, who would you want to collect in vintage?
So how many do I get?
Uh, yeah,
Like who besides Cardinals is what you're saying?
if I told you you can't do a
Gotcha.
Bob Gibson or a Lou Brock run, it's got to be somebody that's on a good team.
Oh, I gotcha. On a good team, I
I'm,
got it.
I'm,
I let that slip in. Hey, they won
yeah,
two World Series during the
I know
60s.
you were the most spoiled person outside of maybe Dodger fans currently. So
You're right. You're right. Um, man, that's a great question. There are for some reason I really like Yastrzemski. I don't know, just his consistency of play, the fact that he had to follow Ted Williams and how difficult that must have been, and he just came in and did a bang up job. So for him, I'd love to collect him. Um, man, you made it tough. Like I have to go through three Cardinals players to get to a non-Cardinals player in my head. Um,
that's what I figured. So it'd make you think a little bit.
it does make me think a little bit. That's so funny. It really does. Uh,
But yeah, that's a
oh,
great answer. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people that would love that one.
yeah. Well, and maybe a little bit bigger one would be Clemente. I just like his cards. I
Don't
love his
go
cards.
sucking up to Theo now.
I'm
Come
not. I
on.
promise you, I'm not sucking up to Theo. I promise you, I'm not. But I mean, I just does he have a bad card though? You know what I mean? Like,
I would say all of them that say Bob.
oh yeah, he probably would have told you the same thing. But in terms of picture, like his pictures are now they might have all been from the exact same photo shoot. But
There's a
like,
couple that are a little iffy, but he definitely has a better run than Willie Mays that I was
oh
collecting previously.
yeah, Willie's got some weird. Can't stand the 61 or whatever where he's not wearing a hat and
Willie's only got a couple good looking tops cards, honestly.
yeah. And so, and I didn't want to go like obviously Mantle, Aaron, Mays, but I was trying to go and well, and I guess you could put Clemente kind of in that bubble with those guys, but with
Well, I
Yastrzemski,
figured Mantle would be a little price limiting with
gosh,
for
yeah,
you.
you're right, you're right. Well, so is Clemente really, but for me anyway. But Yastrzemski's
Not
got a
nearly
pretty
as much, but yeah.
yeah, Yastrzemski's got a pretty attainable run.
Oh yeah, outside of his rookie, it's not that bad at all. So
No.
he's definitely sort of a B tier pricing in the hobby. So
Well, and I really liked Boston until 2004. So the 2004 messed it up for me. They swept the Cardinals in the World Series, but
Okay.
That was the year they were down 3-0 to the Yankees and came back and beat them. And then it was
yeah.
And then it was
I thought that was the first one. So yeah.
Yeah. And then it was okay, we're not losing another game. So
yeah, after they came back like that, it just felt like a destiny thing to finally break the curse deal. So yeah.
Absolutely. We hit them.
You can't fault them for that after how many years they had to suffer. So
I know. And we won one 2 years later, so it took the sting out a little bit, but that was, I mean, we'd won 95 games that year or something. Like we were supposed to kind of roll through, but maybe even 105. Well, there was one year we won 105 games. That might have been it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what you get with the short playoff series and the margin between, the worst team to the best team on any given day is so small in baseball. I mean,
that's why baseball's great. I love it.
Yeah. So, all right. I think we actually made it through. You got through my surprise questions just fine. Any last words for the folks at home?
I started YouTube hoping I would get an experience, and I never really expected the experience I would get, if that makes sense. And so it's been so wonderful. If you've even thought about collecting, is awesome. It's spectacular when you're doing it with friends. And so just make sure you have a bubble, make sure you have a little community, and whether it's on YouTube or whether they're actually in your hometown or what with you. But I can't stress that enough. I love it, and it means so much to me. And John, is the first time that we've ever talked. We've texted several times, and so it means a lot to me that you would invite me on. And I don't know, it's been a great experience.
Well, it's great to have you. It's always great to meet fellow collectors and see what they're all about. So the more the merrier, I say, to this party. So
absolutely, thank you so much.
Oh yeah, it's great to have you once again. Don't forget to subscribe down below. I'll give you that link for Go Crazy Card Collecting. And this will be it for now on For Collectors. Thanks, everybody. We will see you next time.
Love my hobby. Keep collecting baseball cards.
But hey, we want to keep the lights on here at For Collectors Studios, so hit the like button for us, guys.
So thanks, everybody, for coming. And we'll see you next time on For Collectors.
All right, guys, have a great rest of your night. Subscribe to the For Collectors channel if you haven't done so yet, and see you soon.
All right, guys. Clemente Collector has said we hit a grand slam, so that makes me feel good.